The gentle scent of fresh vegetable tanned leather fills the air, a delicate aroma that hints at centuries of artisanal tradition. Soft yet firm, the hide rests under my fingers, warm from the sun and supple with possibility. Every fold, every grain tells a story, a quiet history of forests, sunlight and water, of the tanners who have shaped hides into functional beauty for generations. In these textures, one can feel the patience of ancient craftspeople, their careful hands, and the reverence they held for every piece of leather. The surface glimmers slightly, a subtle sheen that hints at the natural oils preserved within. Running fingertips along it, you notice the tiny variations, the natural scars, the minute imperfections that give the leather character and soul. These are not flaws, but the whispers of life, reminders that this material was once part of a living being, now transformed into something enduring, tactile, and intimate. The aroma deepens, a soft, earthy fragrance that seems to wrap the workshop in a gentle, meditative calm. One cannot help but slow down, letting the senses awaken to every whisper and detail. The tools around me carry their own quiet power. A knife with a replaceable blade, honed to perfection, rests nearby. Its edge catches the light, promising precise, almost surgical, interaction with the leather. The sound of the blade gliding over the hide is hypnotic, a soft rasping that resonates in the chest more than the ears, connecting the hand, the material, and the mind beside it. A steel, straight edge lies in wait, heavy yet balanced, a ruler of precision that turns simple lines into elegant contours. Even the humble mallet, wooden and worn from years of gentle strikes, hums with potential energy, ready to coax the leather into form without haste or force, as hands trace the outlines of what will become a bag case. For a smartphone, one reflects on the long lineage of leather artisans, from the marketplaces of ancient Egypt, where leather sandals and pouches were prized possessions, to the workshops of medieval Europe, where guilds guarded secrets of tanning and embossing. The craft has always demanded patience, reverence, and a careful eye. Each bag, each case, is a continuation of that story, a bridge from the past into the hands of the present. Even a small piece, like this case, carries echoes of centuries of meticulous care and creativity. The hide is laid flat upon a cutting mat, a dual-sided surface that is forgiving yet firm. Every strike of the knife is cushioned against it, allowing the cut to glide smoothly, almost as if the leather itself were encouraging the hand to move with respect and grace. The blade slices quietly, creating clean edges that reveal the soft flesh side of the hide, warm and inviting. Running a thumb across it, one feels the contrast between the supple outer grain and the fibrous interior, a tactile reminder of the complexity within each hide, the hidden structure that supports beauty. There is something inherently meditative in this act, shaping raw material into a form that is both functional and artistic. The quiet rhythm of the tools, the slight resistance of the leather, the soft scraping sound of a beveler smoothing the edges, all create a subtle symphony. Historically, artisans would spend hours performing these same gestures, their hands guided by intuition and experience, not by clocks or deadlines. The work demanded presence, mindfulness, and a deep respect for the material, qualities that resonate even today. A grooved edge guides the stitching line, delicate and precise. The channel, carved just so, allows thread to sit slightly below the surface, protecting it while accentuating the craftsmanship. Using a pricking iron with carefully spaced teeth, holes are suggested before the stitching begins. Each hole is a tiny invitation, a point where thread will dance, binding pieces of leather together in harmony. In centuries past, similar techniques were employed in making saddles, book covers, and coin purses, items designed to endure daily use while retaining their elegance. The thread itself is a marvel, waxy, strong, yet flexible. It slips through the leather with a faint whisper. Historically, thread was often treated with beeswax or plant-based oils, providing durability while keeping the stitches smooth and resistant to the friction of time. Holding it between fingers, one notices how it catches light differently at every angle, a subtle shimmer that promises longevity. As it moves through each hole, it feels alive, almost as if it were part of the leather itself, weaving history and present into a single tactile experience. The act of stitching is a rhythm, a slow dance between hand and material, pulling the needle through. A soft resistance yields, followed by a quiet snap as the thread settles. Each stitch is deliberate, measured, echoing the patience of countless artisans who came before. There is a quiet joy in this repetition, not a mechanical monotony, but a meditative cadence that allows the mind to wander, to reflect, to connect with the ancient lineage of craft. One can imagine a medieval leatherworker, candlelight flickering across a workshop, performing the same motions with similar reverence. Every detail matters. Corners are rounded with a small beveler, softening edges while revealing the layered structure within. The gentle scraping sound is faint, almost a whisper, as fibers give way to careful shaping. Edge burnishing follows, where friction and pressure coax the raw edges into a smooth, polished finish. Historically, artisans would use bone, wood, or specialized tools to achieve this effect, creating surfaces that resist wear while inviting touch. The tactile satisfaction is profound. Fingertips glide over the now lustrous edges, appreciating the subtle contrast between the raw and the refined. Small rivets add both function and charm. With a quiet tap from a mallet, metal meets leather in a satisfying, muted clang. Each rivet secures layers, adding structural integrity, yet also serving as a design accent. The practice dates back centuries, appearing in armor, saddlery, and early luggage. Even a modern smartphone case can carry echoes of this heritage, where function and beauty coexist in harmony, bridging past craftsmanship with contemporary needs. Hardware is carefully selected buckles, loops, and closures that complement the natural hues of the vegetable tanned leather. Their weight, finish, and tactile feel are considered, ensuring that every interaction, every touch, enhances the sensory experience. Historically, these elements were often handcrafted or sourced from local metalsmiths, each piece telling its own story. When assembled thoughtfully, they elevate the entire creation, turning a functional object into an intimate, tactile companion. Throughout the process, the color of the leather subtly deepens. Vegetable tanned hides react to touch, heat, and light, gradually developing a rich patina. It's a living material, responding to handling and the environment. Over time, this patina will deepen further, each mark, scratch, and touch embedding memory and character. Ancient travelers relied on this natural evolution, understanding that leather not only endured but grew more beautiful with use. Today, each case carries the potential to tell the story of its owner, developing personality alongside them. Finishing touches are small yet transformative, a final smoothing with a wooden slicker, a soft brushing to lift fibers, and the leather exhales a quiet whisper, complete yet alive. There is a profound satisfaction in this completion, a moment of pause to appreciate the dialogue between hand, tool, and material. Every edge, every stitch, every rivet speaks of intention, mindfulness, and care, transforming a simple hide into a cherished object. In these details, one senses the invisible threads connecting modern craftsmanship to the artisans of the past, an ongoing conversation across centuries. As the bag case for a smartphone takes its final shape, it embodies more than utility. It carries history, tactile richness, and the calm rhythm of careful, deliberate making. Each curve, line, and surface invites touch and reflection, celebrating the quiet elegance of leathercraft. The senses remain engaged, the subtle aroma of tannins, the smoothness beneath fingertips, the soft whispers of tools meeting material, all combine into an immersive experience that soothes, educates, and mesmerizes. The case is ready, yet it feels alive, holding the memory of creation in every fiber. There is a quiet satisfaction in this exploration. Appreciation for the material's natural beauty, which no amount of polish can replicate. In this touch, one feels not just craftsmanship, but the lineage of centuries, from ancient tanners in small village workshops to contemporary artisans experimenting with new designs and tools. Leather, especially vegetable tanned, has always held a unique place in human history. Long before synthetic materials existed, hides were transformed into protection, containers, and symbols of status. From the robust armor of medieval knights to the delicate pouches carried by merchants along the Silk Road, leather balanced strength with elegance. Holding this smartphone bag case, one feels connected to that continuum, where every stitch, every edge, every polish is a nod to tradition and ingenuity. The material is alive, responding to touch, light, and the warmth of human hands. A quiet participant in the act of creation, the subtle weight of the bag case hints at its durability. In the workshop, a balance must always be struck between protection and ease of use. This piece is designed to cradle a modern device, yet it carries echoes of utility from centuries past. Small compartments and pockets, stitched carefully and precisely, recall the organizational strategies of ancient travelers who carried coins, scrolls, or personal talismans in leather pouches. Each function is informed by history, elegantly integrated with tactile delight. Edge finishing is a meditative process. Using a slicker or burnisher, the raw edges are coaxed into silky smoothness. Pressure, friction, and subtle wrist movements create a whisper of warmth that softens the fibers. Historically, artisans would use bone, wood, or even rivers, stones, to achieve this effect, each tool imparting a slightly different texture. Today, modern tools allow for greater consistency, yet the essence remains the same: patience, presence, and respect for the material. Watching the edge transform under gentle strokes is a quiet joy, as fibers align and shimmer in soft harmony. The stitching pattern itself tells a story. Each diagonal pass of the needle through the pre-punched holes is both functional and decorative. Historically, saddle stitching was favored for its strength and durability, often used in saddles, belts, and book bindings. Pulling the thread snug, the leather gently compresses, creating tension that holds layers together without overpowering their natural flexibility. The rhythm becomes hypnotic, a soft, repeating cadence that is both meditative and satisfying. In this repetition, one appreciates not only the craft but the mindfulness that is embedded in every creation. As the bag case nears completion, attention turns to subtle details, the corners, loops, and closures. These seemingly small elements are vital to both function and aesthetics. A corner reinforced with a precise stitch, a loop aligned perfectly with the natural flow of the leather, a closure that glides effortlessly all contribute to a harmonious whole. In historical workshops, such details were a mark of pride. Artisans would spend hours perfecting corners and edges, knowing that these elements were what set true craftsmanship. Apart from mere utility, the tactile experience of the hardware is equally mesmerizing. Buckles and clasps, cold and smooth in contrast to the warm leather, create a satisfying interplay of textures. The metal carries its own history, once hammered and polished by skilled hands, often in small local forges. Each piece fits snugly, echoing the precision and care of the artisan. When the closure snaps into place, there is a quiet confirmation of completion, a moment where material, tool, and hand converge into harmony. Polishing brings the final alchemy of transformation. Using a soft cloth, natural oils, and gentle circular motions, the leather's surface deepens in hue and radiance. Light dances across the grain, highlighting its natural variations. Patina, both subtle and profound, begins to form a living record of touch and time. In the history of leathercraft, the development of patina was revered. It was a sign of life, experience, and authenticity. Each mark, each subtle color shift, tells a story, a quiet dialogue between the artisan, the material, and the future user. The workshop itself seems to join the ritual. The faint creak of wooden floors, the distant hum of a drill or sanding tool, the soft rustle of leather being handled, all contribute to a serene soundscape. This auditory environment is part of the ASMR experience, a layer of sensory engagement that complements the tactile and visual. One is reminded that craft is not merely visual, it is immersive, enveloping every sense, allowing the observer to feel the rhythm and flow of creation, even without touching the material directly. Reflecting on the lineage of tools adds depth to the moment. The swivel knife, the adjustable groover, the pricking irons, each carries centuries of refinement. The very forms of these tools have evolved, yet their fundamental purpose, to guide, protect, and elevate the artisan's touch, remains constant. Observing their use in creating the bag case reveals a quiet elegance, the way a punch marks its hole, the precision with which a groove guides stitching, the gentle persuasion of a burnisher on an edge. All are gestures of reverence, connecting present work to historical mastery. The interplay of softness and firmness in vegetable tanned leather is particularly compelling. This leather, tanned using natural plant materials, holds a subtle elasticity while maintaining structure. Running a hand over it, one feels resistance, followed by yielding, a dialogue between material and touch. Ancient tanners discovered these qualities through painstaking experimentation, soaking hides in tannins extracted from bark, leaves, and roots. Modern artisans continue this tradition, honoring these methods while allowing for contemporary design innovations. The resulting material is not just durable, it is responsive, alive, and deeply satisfying to engage with. Historical context further enriches the creation. Leather has served as protection, adornment, and personal expression. Samurai in Japan carried pouches and armor pieces crafted from tanned hides, valuing both functionality and artistry. European monks bound sacred texts in leather, meticulously tooling covers with designs that conveyed meaning and reverence. In North America, native artisans wove stories and symbols into leather bags, pouches, and moccasins. Each piece, even a small smartphone case, is part of this continuum, a vessel for functionality, artistry, and personal narrative. Mini-stories surface as the mind wanders during repetitive motions. One imagines a traveler centuries ago, reaching into a leather pouch for a coin or scroll, marveling at the durability and elegance of its construction, or a medieval artisan working by candlelight, carefully punching holes for stitching, knowing that each pass of the needle adds both strength and beauty. These reflections enrich the process, turning simple creation into a meditation on human ingenuity, patience, and the tactile pleasures of material mastery. The bag case, now complete, invites interaction. Fingertips glide across the surface, feeling the warmth, the smooth edges, the subtle grain, and the tension of stitched seams, lifting the flap, exploring compartments. Sensing the weight and balance, every movement reinforces the connection between object and user. It is both protective and intimate, a small sanctuary for a device that accompanies daily life. In this duality lies the essence of leathercraft, merging practicality with artistry, functionality with sensory delight. Subtle variations in leather tone and grain further engage the observer. No two hides are identical. Each carries the history of its animal, environment, and tanning process. These variations are celebrated, not hidden, as they create character and uniqueness. In a world dominated by mass production, such individuality is rare and precious. The bag case is therefore not just a product. It is a living testament to the artisan's choices, the material's journey, and the tactile pleasure of human touch. Reflecting on the broader significance of leathercraft, one appreciates its enduring relevance. While synthetic alternatives offer convenience, they often lack the tactile intimacy, evolving beauty, and sensory engagement of natural leather. Vegetable tanned leather, in particular, rewards touch and attention over time, developing patina and responding to environmental cues. It transforms from raw hide into an intimate object that tells stories, connects history to the present, and invites meditation through sensory interaction.